Hey everybody, I'm Grant with Geotrek, and behind me is our full build out. So this is our flagship layout. This is the full build. This is the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna walk you through, show you what's inside. This van includes everything you need, all the essentials to live out of your van full time. Our full build out, which starts at $27,500. This layout right here includes all that. We start with a little kitchenette, and within this unit you get a lot of features. For one, we have a 110 liter Dometic fridge. It's a fridge freezer. So this thing's awesome for storing food, ice cream, beer, wine, sparkling water, kombucha, all that good stuff. Right above there is this drawer. This is actually a newer feature on our full build out, and it's been awesome for utensils, plates, and all kinds of cooking stuff. Right above that is the induction stove. So this stove runs off of your power system. Right behind that is a sliding window. This is very important for a couple reasons. One, you definitely want airflow coming through your van. Things can get stuffy if you have a wet dog or stinky boots. Two, if you're cooking, it's just a safety thing that you want some airflow. The sliding window also comes with a nice little screen here to keep the bugs out. And then the sink pivots around to make a little bit of a makeshift outdoor shower there. You can see we have more cabinet space. I'll touch on these latches too while I'm at it. These are very important. You do not want things to rattle while you're on a bumpy road. We take a lot of pride in making sure our stuff does not rattle. And the first step to that is using good latches. So you can see quite a bit of cabinet space under there. This is the gray water. So that's your sink. The dirty water from your sink runs down through the chassis of the van. You can either run that straight down to the ground or mount an accessory gray water tank down there. Up above here we have similar cabinets, same latches, and these have a bit of a assisted open, and then they also have a little pass-through in the middle. So I think it's important to have flexible storage space. So if you ever have something longer than the length of this cabinet, you can kind of thread it through these gaps. It also just makes the build lighter. So you'll notice we use a lot of the same materials throughout this build. It's a laminated Baltic birch. And what that does for you, it allows for some color options for one. Camper vans get dirty. That's kind of the fact of the matter. You're gonna have a wet dog or you're gonna have a bike in here that gets things muddy, and laminate with just a warm washcloth or a household cleaner will clean up very nicely as opposed to paint. Moving over to the passenger side of the van here, we have a bench seat. Now this is very cool for hanging out, whether you're working or eating. And underneath the bed here, we have our lagoon table. So this pivots out, it's adjustable, and then it tucks away nicely under the bed so that it's up out of the way. Then inside the bench, we've got a bunch of room for storage. So right now in here we have a Trulino composting toilet. These are pretty sweet, and these are one of the add-ons that we offer. And it's really some prime real estate for storage. Back behind that, we have the EcoFlow Delta Pro. So this is included in all of our full build outs. And this is a product by EcoFlow that basically houses all of the different components of a power system in one. And it's backed by a warranty and some good customer service. So we really like this for the ease of use, the warranty, and then there's also an app that is compatible with your smartphone. So you can be connected to your power system, see how much solar you're drawing in, see how much the lights and fridge and stove are pulling. It's just a really great way to monitor your energy use. So coming up to our bed here, we wanted to pick a configuration that fits the most people. That's kind of our motto, is we want this layout to be affordable, functional, and meet the needs of as many people as possible. That goes into the bed, which is very flexible depending on how tall or short you are. North-south, which is lengthwise to the van, is 6'2". So you can sleep like this. This is a modified king size mattress. So this way is 6'2", and then east-west would be 5'9". If you really want to sleep east-west, we can add on flares. And what that does, it just extends this wall. You've probably seen them. It's a bump out that goes on the side of the van, and that just extends your east-west dimensions. So one flare on the driver's side would make it 6'2", and then another one on the passenger side would make it 6'8". So if you're a really tall individual, you'd have to go 2 flares. So right above the bed here, we have a Max Air fan. Right in here, we have the remote for that. So you can do either exhaust or intake on your van. So you can change the directions, change the speed, and it's just a really cool feature to have, and we include it in the full build. Also above the bed, we have these LED reading lights. These are dimmable. You can kind of adjust them around. And then underneath there's a USB. So it's a cool place to plug in a phone or iPad and charge up. So coming around to the back here, we have our garage area. And then underneath here, we keep it pretty open. You know, we have bikers and skiers and dog owners that have all different uses for this space. So the whole floor of this van is lined with coin flooring. So this is by Rec Pro. It's really durable, scratch resistant, and it can get muddy, can get tore up, and you can just clean it out real nice. So we think that's important for these vans. They're meant to be taken outside and get dirty. On the driver's side here, we have one garage cabinet that houses a couple things. First, it has 25 gallons of fresh water, and then you would fill it up right here. You can fill that up with a hose or jug, however you please, and then monitor it with the fill line on the cabinet. Just above that, in this van, we have a EcoFlow Wave 2, so it does heat and AC, and that's vented up here by the bed. We also have options for overhead, 48 volt AC, and diesel or gas heater, depending on your van. And then we have some storage cubbies in the back. You can stuff some gear in here, and then we also have it cut out to fit a second Delta Pro. So EcoFlow makes an expansion pack, which essentially doubles your battery capacity. And if at any point down the line you decide you want more power, it's as simple as just dropping that in here. You know, if you ever just want an empty van in the back, you can actually pull this whole bed out and then these two platform pieces pretty easily. So now I will show you the roof, which has some goodies up there, which I'll show you. So first of all, rear ladder. This is included in all of our builds. I think it's important to get on your roof if you'd like. And we have two things. We have the Max Air fan, which we looked at inside, and that has a controller both on the fan and then a remote in the cabinet. And then in front of that, we have a big solar panel. So this takes up about 2/3 of the roof here. This is a 450 watt panel, and it's meant to power the entire system down below, completely independent of any other power. These vans are completely off-grid capable, and we think it's really important to be independent and not worry about always having to find a plug-in. We also have a DC-DC charger that's hooked up to the alternator so that when you're running that engine or you're driving along, it'll be charging your system down below. And then as a third fail-safe, you can plug it in. If you're interested in more information on the Geotrek full build out, you can find that at geotrekvans.com. You can play with our van builder tool and kind of spec out your own van. We'd be glad to get in touch with you. So if you have more questions, please feel free to set up a call and we will go through a build and find a van for you. Thanks.